Hello viewers and welcome to this week's episode of The Life Conversations. This program is brought to you by the Contact Center Association of Zimbabwe, and it aims at equipping you with more knowledge on customer experience, service excellence, as well as service delivery. I'm your host, Carol Konje. And as usual, we bring in different customer experience experts. We also bring in contact center managers, executives, business people to discuss more of these issues. And today I have in the studio Mr. P.Mbarara. He is the contact center manager for Zetdc. And today we would like to talk about life in a contact center environment. We always have those CX agents, people who answer calls, who talk to you when you have a query. But do we even know what it takes to be a CX agent? What are the demands within a contact center environment? Patient, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Kero. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
Kuri sei kumagitsi?
Tiriku.
And it Shurubita.
Shurufam.
And this guy.
We are trying hard
Yes.
to
All
keep
right.
the lights on.
Yes. Please do. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
All right. So let's just get into our program. What does it take for one to work in a contact center or in a customer service department?
Okay, Kero, to answer your question, I would say this. You know, customer experience or customer service, it's a demanding environment where we cannot say exactly we need a certain basic qualification. To me, I would like to have people with the right personality before we talk about academic qualifications. To work with people with the right attitude, because we will be dealing with the emotions of human beings. So before we talk about basic education qualifications, academic qualifications, we need to look at the people with the right personality, the people with the right attitude to be in a customer experience environment. But as you know, when we are recruiting, we need to have a baseline. Before we talk about personality tests, before we talk about the right attitudes, at least we need to have some basic qualifications which can help us shortlist people. We carry out personality tests. We look at people's attitudes. So when we talk about issues to do with academic qualifications, just as one of the many aspects we look into when recruiting customer experience personnel, we can talk about those disciplines which looks at human behavior, those disciplines which looks at consumer behavior, because those are the daily issues which we'll be dealing with. And if we talk about those disciplines, we are talking about qualifications in marketing, we are talking about qualifications in public relations and stakeholder relations, we are talking about social sciences. Those are the disciplines which are known to tackle issues to do with human behavior. But as I said, if I can have an accountant with the right attitude, with the right personality, and fits into the contact center environment or customer experience environment, why not take them? As we speak, I work with people who are outside those disciplines which I've talked about, who are performing exceptionally well. So above the academic qualifications, we need the right people with the right personalities, with the right attitude to deal with customers on a daily basis.
Wow, profound. Okay, so what is the day-to-day expectation of a CX agent? This is what you do every day. So what's your expectation maybe from a managerial position?
What we expect from customer experience personnel is to delight customers. You know, in our environment, in the contact center, across board in our country, when a customer calls in one or the other, I think 90%, they have challenges with accessing your services, with using your products. So when the customer comes in, whether it's a call-in or it's a walk-in, when they leave the office, they should be delighted. They should have a solution in their hands. They should expect something to happen which makes them happy. So without talking about those other targets, the daily expectation of a customer experience staff member or personnel is to make sure that they resolve customer issues, they respond to the customers, and they make customers happy at the end of the day.
Okay, we cannot talk of working in a contact center environment and leave the issue of language. How do you deal with language barriers? I know some other organizations, they have options of, if you want to be helped in English, dial this in Shona, but some other they don't have. And maybe if you call speaking in Ndebele, someone say, okay, let me wait for someone to help you, and stuff like that. So how do you deal with issues like that?
Right. There are so many ways of dealing with the issues of language, but as we know, we are living in a multilingual environment where we have about 14, if I'm not mistaken, official languages. And to think that we can cover for those languages, the 14 languages, it's a bit difficult in a contact center environment or in a customer experience environment. But when we align our personnel, we align our staff, when we recruit, we make sure where possible, when we've got the right people to take care of the official languages, we incorporate them. And one of the methods is the one which you have just stated, whereby you give customers options to choose the language they want to use. But as you know, we have got official languages which are accepted in a country. And if we can provide for those, if someone can't speak in Shona, who tackle their issues in the language they feel comfortable, whether it's English or it's Shona or it's Ndebele. So as we align our staff members, as we recruit, we take serious cognizance into language issues so that at least we don't leave anyone out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How do you deal with difficult customers? I think, especially maybe with organizations that you work for, you always have queries maybe coming from people. When it goes beyond a CX agent, what is the next step? How do you deal with a difficult customer?
Okay, for a customer to be labeled a difficult customer, mm-hmm. It's because you have failed to give that customer what he or she expects, or what he or she wants. So the best way of making sure that you don't have difficult customers is to give them what they want. But like I stated before, here and there, we find customers who have challenges, who are irate, who are angry, and they want to be dealt with. So first of all, we should create an environment whereby a customer, when the customer calls in angry, you can have a landing pad which at least reduces the anger to the extent that the customer can be helped conclusively at first point of call. But in the event that you have failed to resolve at the first point of call, we have to escalate various stages. But we don't expect it to escalate more than 10% of the issues, because it will render the first touch point irrelevant if we can escalate so many issues. But here and there, we have got an escalation matrix, and I'm sure every contact center or customer experience environment provides that, where we are saying we've got the first line of defense, that is the customer experience agents or staff members at the front, and then we've got their team leaders, we've got their supervisors, and then after their supervisors, in most contact centers or customer experience environments, we've got the quality team, which also looks into customer issues and make sure that we help them. And in very few instances, we get issues which goes through all those steps, and they land in the manager's office. But usually there are issues which cannot be resolved at a lower level. But what we need to do in those environments is to make sure that we equip those people at the front with adequate information, with adequate skills, to make sure that they resolve 90 or so % of customer inquiries without them being escalated. If they are escalated, we don't expect them to pass through 2 stages.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so why is grooming and etiquette important, or why is it an enabler in a world-class customer experience environment?
Grooming and etiquette are key ingredients in a customer experience environment. Mm-hmm. Number one, we're talking about escalations. Probably some of the escalations comes because of lack of proper business etiquette, business communication. When you respond to a customer, when you get a customer call, when a customer walks in, how do you receive that customer? You know, I can walk into your office very angry. You receive me in a smiling, in a jovial mood. You know, I will be tempted, or I will be forced not to shout at you. So it's part of etiquette, how you receive customers. You know, when we talk about grooming, it's another way which helps us in the customer experience environment. The way you dress, the way you take care of yourself when you are getting out of the house to the office. Like with etiquette, how you receive customers. You walk into someone's office and the tie is looking the other way. You know, those issues, they are likely to put off customers. And at the end of the day, you will not be able to handle your customers well. They will have a perception before you talk. There's someone, when someone stands up, starts to talk to you or responds to you, you expect to get something important and factual because of the way they look. But you look at someone who is not well presented, trying to resolve your issue, there is likely to be a perception. What comes from a person like this? So grooming and etiquette are serious issues in as far as our customer experience is concerned. When we were growing up, we were talking about that young language, the first cut is the deepest, the first touch point before you talk. When someone sees you, when someone hears your voice at the other end of the phone, what perception do they create? A positive perception comes from people who are well groomed, who are up there in as far as grooming and etiquette is concerned. So it's very critical.
All right, this is the Live Conversations brought to you by the Contact Center Association of Zimbabwe. And today in the studio, I have the Contact Center Manager for Zetdc, Mr. P.Mbarara. And we are talking about life in a contact center environment. Okay, so Patient, for an employee to perform his or her duties thoroughly, what does she or he need? Because sometimes we then end up hearing stories that maybe it's not an issue of the CX agent personally, but it's a system problem, or maybe it's an association's problem or the organization's problem. It may not necessarily mean it's the person who is wrong or who is not able to attend to or to give solutions to the problem. So what does one need for him to or her to perform the duties?
I think when you were asking the question, you came up with some serious possible answers in your question. You know, performance goes down to issues to do with the environment you are working in. What is the environment like in terms of, are you equipped to help customers? You know, we can have, I talked about right attitude, right, the correct personality, the right qualifications. But without proper product knowledge, you can have all those characteristics well above the minimum required levels. But without product knowledge, you won't be able to help customers. So we are saying if you are in a customer experience environment, you need to know